Sunrise and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. There's a change at the pump for this time of year. We'll tell you the difference Americans are feeling. And Trump's cabinet picks continue to face scrutiny. How the president-elect continues to break from tradition just ahead. Plus, one local charity needs help to keep its doors open. How you can help coming up.
And we had a bit of a warm week in the last few days and another warm one coming our way today, but don't get used to that because we've got not one, not two, not three, but 4 fronts over the next 10 days. We'll talk about all that and the weather coming up.
NFL football is officially in the history books. See how the Dallas Cowboys and the Houston Texans all did coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning, Crossroads, and thank you for joining us.
Yes, good morning, Crossroads, and happy Monday. It's the beginning of another week.
Yes, that's right, and we're in for a roller coaster series of highs and lows.
Yeah, you saw that.
Parker, are we going to get any rain, though?
Rain is actually not in the forecast.
So
but
we still have those burn bans.
Yeah, we still have burn bans, but actually...
No bonfires this week.
Believe it or not, no rain for us this week is actually a good thing, because if anything did develop under this wind shear environment, we'd probably be looking at severe weather. But that's not the case. No rain is in the forecast, unfortunately. And if you're tuning in with us right now, you're looking at a nice, clear, pretty sunrise over Victoria. Some of us are dealing with a little bit of fog this morning, so just be careful if you're driving on the roads this morning or if you're going to go look at that sunrise. 57 right now in Victoria, just a tad bit chilly. I might even recommend a jacket. We'll let y'all decide on that. But like I was saying, some of us experienced some light fog out there this morning, so just be careful. Use your headlights on the roads this morning before that fog clears by 8:30. Otherwise, temperatures, we're all looking at upper 50s and low 60s this morning. But why I'm showing this is because that's going to look totally different tomorrow morning. Why? Because we've got a front coming out of North Texas. You can see it right here on satellite up in the Panhandle, but not the only one. We've got, like I said, we've got 4 coming our way over the next 10 days. Lots more coming off of that system as well in the Pacific. We're going to talk about that later on Sunrise, because if you're sending your kiddos out the door, packing for the morning, just like it is right now, low 60s, upper 50s, a bit cool out there, but a warm afternoon in the upper 80s for late November. We'll look at that coming up next.
Retail gas prices fell by 3 cents in the past 2 weeks. The national average price for regular gas now sits at $3.05 per gallon. That's a massive 49-cent decline from 19 weeks ago, and 31 cents less than the price this time last year. AAA reports that the average price for a gallon of gas in Victoria County is $2.53 and averages $2.64 across the state. They also report 80 million people will hit the roads and airways this Thanksgiving, with traveler numbers surpassing pre-pandemic levels. We'll go to Washington for more later. In Washington, 2 of President-elect Trump's cabinet nominees are facing growing scrutiny. Critics claim former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard is a, quote, sympathizer for Russia and Syria, while Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth faces questions about his history with women.
This morning, senators on both sides of the aisle suggesting at least 2 of President-elect Trump's cabinet nominees face an uphill battle to be confirmed. That includes Tulsi Gabbard, Trump's pick for Director of National Intelligence. Senator Tammy Duckworth calls Gabbard compromised, citing Gabbard's 2017 trip to Syria.
I mean, Russian-controlled media called her a Russian asset. So I do think that we have a real deep concern whether or not she's a compromised person.
Senator Mark Wayne Mullen taking issue with Duckworth's comment.
I got a lot of respect for Tammy, and I've known her for years. We served together in the House, but for her to say ridiculous and outright dangerous words like that is wrong. If she was compromised, if she wasn't able to pass a background check, if she wasn't able to do her job, she still wouldn't be in the Army.
Trump's nominee for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has come under scrutiny after a police report revealed a woman accused him of sexual assault in 2017. The Army vet denies the allegations and was never charged. Republican Senator Joni Ernst telling Politico the claims are worthy of a discussion. Senator Bill Haggerty calling Hegseth a very talented person.
Don't let these allegations distract us. What we need is real significant change. The Pentagon has been more focused on pronouns than they have lethality the past 4 years.
Trump nominating Dr. Marty Makary to lead the FDA. He is a surgeon and author who opposed vaccine mandates during the pandemic. It comes as new questions are being raised over how Trump's transition is being funded. Trump's team has reportedly not signed a document with the Biden administration that would allocate federal funding for the transition to pay for things like staff and travel. That's raising concern about private donations and potential conflicts of interests.
Perry Russom, ABC News, Washington.
Trump's team also decided to forego FBI background checks for cabinet nominees, bypassing a traditional step, but supporters say Trump has a mandate to shake up Washington, which may include breaking several traditions. New data from the American Farm Bureau Federation suggests that Thanksgiving dinner is more affordable now than it has been in years. The cost of this year's holiday feast is estimated at $58.08 for a 10-person gathering, or $5.81 a head. It marks a 5% drop since last year and the lowest level since 2021. Research found that turkey is 6% cheaper than last year, and sweet potatoes and whole milk have seen the steepest annual price drops, falling 26% and 14% respectively. A local care facility is hosting a fundraiser to help keep its doors open for their clients. The Affectionate Arms at 3802 John Stockbauer is a local nonprofit organization that serves the elderly as well as people 18 and older with special needs or other medical conditions. With over 30 years in action, the facility provides several key services to those in need. They also give a place for these groups to socialize with events and activities. And just in March of this year, they were able to include veterans as part of their care. However, they're in danger of closing their doors, and they're looking for a large turnout at their silent auction on December 7th to keep that from happening.
We're all going to get old one day. So I think it's just to have this facility here in Victoria, so many are closing down. I think it's so important, and we're just trying to keep this facility open. So any help is very much appreciated.
Affectionate Arms accepts Medicare, Medicaid, and insurance provided by the military for those that qualify and need that coverage to receive the daily care. Those looking to donate items or money for their silent auction can do so Monday through Friday from 7:30 in the morning to 2 p.m. Calhoun County Commissioners plan to meet at 2 p.m. today in an open executive session. They plan to discuss the filling of the vacancy of county judge. This follows the death of Judge Richard Meyer, who died unexpectedly in his sleep. For now, Precinct 2 Commissioner Vern Lisi will act as county judge pro tem. Remember, follow us on our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time is now, looking at our clock up here, it is 6:37 on our Monday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. We take in a celebration marking the installation of a new monument recognizing veterans.
I'm ABC's Perry Russom in Washington. It's the start of Thanksgiving week travel, and there is good news at the gas pump. That story coming up.
And also coming up next after the break in the full forecast, I've got some good news on weather as well. Very warm temperatures and a front coming away. We're going to take a look at that next. But coming up later, we've got not just one, not that only one, but three more after that. We're going to take a look at that later. Well, good morning, Crossroads. You're looking live in Cuero. Look at that. As the sun's coming up, you can actually see how clear it is out there this morning. Lots of colors as well. If you're going to go see that sunrise, though, it's 63 right now in Cuero. Your dew point 2 degrees off at 61, bringing humidity to 94%, so plenty high, and it is high enough to see a little bit of fog. So just be careful. I'm thinking the fog will be pretty light this morning, but if you do see that thick fog, just be careful. Let it clear by about 8:30 as the sun comes up. And with that sun coming up today, it's going to be pretty beaming sunny all day today until the mid to late afternoon. Before that front arrives, we're going to start picking up just a few clouds, but otherwise that sun is going to bring us up to about 87. I'm thinking for the high in Victoria. I'm thinking 87 or maybe 88 for a moment or so in Cuero, and about 84 I'm actually thinking in Port Lavaca today before that front arrives this evening, bringing our lows down into the low and mid 50s under mostly clear skies, and then that sun coming up tomorrow, only bringing our highs to the lovely low and mid 70s. So definitely get out there and enjoy that tomorrow. But looking at the timing of the front coming tonight, it's going to pass through our northwestern counties first between 5 to 7 p.m. Passing through northwestern counties first between 5 to 7 p.m. Passing through us between 7 to 8 p.m. and then passing through Port Lavaca and all the coastal communities between 8 to 9 p.m. And actually, after that front passes through, I want to let y'all know before it's not going to be too breezy, but after it passes, we're going to be looking at wind gusts up to about 25, maybe even 30 miles an hour at times. So just be careful if you have any lightweight plants outside. Maybe secure them down for the ground for tonight. But as we go for the rest of this week, we've got a whole roller coaster of temperatures with lots of fronts, and we're going to look at that coming up next.
An eventful Sunday for us Victorians. The Dallas Cowboys was in action along with the Houston Texans early on. The Texans hosting the Titans early that Sunday. Texans going in today's game as the favorite. The Texans being the #1 team in the AFC South with a 7-2 record to the Titans' 2-8 record. The predictions seem to be the case to start things off as Stroud connects to Stover for a 19-yard touchdown. Texans scoring early at NRG Stadium. Stover went 3 for 1 that totaled 26 receiving yards. The Texans looking to be off to a great start, then the Titans unable to score a touchdown on their first return drive, but they make a field goal. But the Titans would get it together by the end of the first quarter, scoring 10 on the board to Houston's 7. Close game, but the Titans had a better fourth quarter, winning the game. Final score, 32-27. And the Dallas Cowboys on the road taking the Washington Commanders. It's been a long season for Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys, and yesterday it was almost seemed like it was going to be one of those days. Braden Aubrey attempting a 35-yard field goal, but Quan Martin and the Washington Commanders all had different ideas. They blocked and found themselves in Cowboys territory. This battle of back and forth field goals saw the Cowboys walk away with the victory. Final score, 34-26. And that does it for your 25 News Now Sports. Until next time, I'm Ray Robinson.
It's the start of the Thanksgiving travel week, and there's good news at the gas station. The nationwide average is now $3.05. That's the lowest price for this time of year since 2001. It comes as the FAA is preparing for a surge of planes in the air by opening military airspace.
This morning, the start of Thanksgiving week travel hit by severe weather. A snowstorm leaving thousands without power in northeastern Pennsylvania.
We were stuck in the snow for a couple hours.
Record rain and snow in Northern California.
A call came in from a person who saw a car bobbing in the water.
Today, heavy snow in the west and rain in the Great Lakes. By tomorrow, that snow makes its way into the Rockies. The I-95 corridor on the East Coast is lined with rain. Better driving conditions for the Midwest and East Coast on Wednesday. It comes as AAA is predicting there will be 1.7 million more drivers on the road this year compared to last year.
This is the time of year when most people travel. So already you're comparing a very high number from last year.
TSA is preparing for the more than 50,000 flights tomorrow. To help with the surge of planes, the FAA is opening military airspace off the East Coast and Gulf of Mexico. The FAA also facing a shortage of air traffic controllers.
We will use traffic flow management initiatives to deal with any staffing shortages on that particular day in this airspace, and we expect to have some of those shortages.
It comes as there's a spike in car thefts at airport parking lots across the country. In Atlanta, more than 300 vehicles were stolen at its main airport this year, compared to 95 for all of last year. ABC's Faith Abube is there.
Here at the Atlanta airport, officials tell us they've increased parking staff, surveillance cameras, and police patrols. And also more than 24 officers have now been certified to use tire deflation spikes to stop stolen vehicles from leaving this property.
Police say there's a crime ring hitting airports across the South and West. They are reprogramming key fobs, stealing the cars, then driving them to Mexico to be sold. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
And that leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to take part. We want to know, how are you traveling over the Thanksgiving holiday? Okay, let's take a look. Wow, it looks like none of you are getting on a plane. And it seems like that's a good thing because it's pretty hectic at the airport. And none of you say train, so no Amtrak for you. 5% of you say other. Perhaps you're going to be traveling by boat. And 32% of you say automobile, and 63% of you, you're very fortunate you're not traveling. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part in our viewer poll. After a year of planning, a piece of history from the Vietnam War era now has a home here in the Crossroads. The official dedication ceremony took place Saturday morning inside Patriot Park, welcoming a UH-1 or Huey-style helicopter on permanent display in the park. The Huey brought supplies to combat areas during the Vietnam War, as well as bringing the wounded to medical treatment. The Huey helicopter brings with it a lot of emotion to those that participated in the Vietnam conflict, such as Purple Heart recipient Roger Blaker Sr., who piloted Huey helicopters in Vietnam. He wants this monument to be a reminder to future generations.
I think it's the greatest thing they ever did was bring one of those in here so our younger people can see what we had done and when we did it.
The combined effort from veteran Ernest Montez, the Victoria County Commissioners, and others were able to bring the Huey to Patriot Park. Victoria County Commissioners will not meet today. Their next meeting will be Monday, December 2nd on the second floor of the Victoria County Courthouse. That's going to be at 115 North Burridge Street in room 241. Stay tuned to Crossroads today for a look at what's next on the agenda. Two special turkeys are living the high life as they prepare for their pardon at the White House today. Meet Peach and Blossom making their public debut at the nation's capital, and they're getting ready to take their place in the history books. Thankfully, these two turkeys will be spared from the Thanksgiving table this year. President Biden will officially pardon these two distinguished birds in a White House tradition that was first started by President Truman in 1947. The time is now 6:46 on our Monday morning. Still to come on Sunrise, the U.S. and Israel are proposing a 60-day pause in fighting that some hope could result in a lasting ceasefire. Okay, it's time to celebrate some birthdays. Happy birthday to Bentley. Happy 5th birthday. We love you and hope you have a superific day. I love that.
Have a superific day, Bentley.
Love Grandma, Great Grandma, and Daddy.
I love that. And also happy birthday to Stephanie. Happy 30th birthday, Steph. We all love you so much.
And it's Christina Applegate's birthday, 53. She played Kelly Bundy in the sitcom Married with Children and won a Primetime Emmy Award for a role on Friends.
Wow, happy birthday, Miss Christina Applegate. And to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, go to crossroadstoday.com, click the drop-down menu, then click the Home tab, and then you'll see Submit Your Birthday Photo.
Okay, the time looking at our clock up here at 6:47 on our Monday morning. Happy birthday if you're celebrating one today, or maybe you celebrated one over the weekend.
That's right, over the weekend. Happy birthday. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, good morning, Crossroads. I'm sure you heard me talk about we've got 4 fronts coming our way over the next 10 days. Well, I still see that being the case. Well, we're going to look at that right now. Starting out with the first one that's coming our way tonight. Like I said, somewhere between 6, 7, 8, 9 p.m. tonight, passing through our counties. You can actually see it right here up in North Texas, up in the Panhandle area. It's actually passing through Dallas right now as we speak. That's all originating off of the first half of that big whole system that we've been talking about in the Pacific all last week. The second half is still there. You can see it spinning counterclockwise, still bringing an atmospheric river to parts of California where they're still seeing all kinds of winter storm warnings, watches, blizzard warnings, freeze warnings, like every kind of winter warning that you can think of. Well, that system is still on pace to come our way as we go into next week. Like I said, that does not mean a blizzard is coming our way to Victoria, Texas, but it does mean it's going to send us a couple fronts, starting out with, like I said, the first one coming tonight. That should be down here because it's coming at tonight, 7, 8, 9, 10 p.m. tonight. But that's going to originate, like I said, off the first one. That's pushing toward the Great Lakes. But the second half, which is still over the Eastern Pacific, is going to ride over the Rockies and send us the next front on Thanksgiving Day, Thursday of this week, bringing us some lovely weather. No rain in the forecast. It's going to be a dry front, but bringing us some lovely low 70s and upper 60s for highs as we go to later this week. Then here comes the third one going into this weekend, and then here comes the fourth one coming off a big low coming out of the Canadas. That one might be bringing some really cold weather for next week. But for the rest of this week, we're on the temperature roller coaster. We're going to look at that later on Sunrise.
It could be a ray of hope amid violence in the Middle East. A ceasefire agreement between Israel and Lebanon-based Hezbollah is, quote, very close, according to a regional source. U.S. and Israeli officials caution a deal isn't final yet, but an Israeli spokesperson says the two sides are moving in that direction. The U.S. and Israel are proposing a 60-day pause in fighting, and some hope it could result in a lasting ceasefire. The Lebanese Health Ministry estimates more than 30,000 people have died since Israel stepped up its campaign against Hezbollah in September. One crew member was killed after a cargo plane crashed earlier today on the outskirts of an airport in Lithuania. The plane skid into a house and burst into flames. 3 others on board the flight, including the pilot, survived the crash, as well as 12 members of the home who were safely evacuated. The cargo plane was flying from Germany and was due to land at the capital of Lithuania when it crashed a few kilometers from the runway. Authorities say it's too early to make any conclusions as to what caused the crash, and the circumstances and causes are being investigated. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. A California county is contending with flooding after recent rainfall. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu approved the emerging ceasefire deal with Hezbollah in principle during a security consultation with Israeli officials Sunday night, a source familiar with the matter said. Israel still has reservations over some details of the agreement, which were expected to be transmitted to the Lebanese government on Monday. Those and other details are still being negotiated, and multiple sources stress that the agreement will not be final until all issues are resolved. California Sonoma County is contending with flooding after recent rainfall. At the Mirabel Trailer Park in Forestville on Saturday, you could see several vehicles submerged in the high water. It comes after an atmospheric storm dropped heavy rain for 3 days and caused the Russian River to rise. The river at Gurneyville crested at 34.68 feet on Saturday morning. With more rain and a flood advisory still in place for parts of Sonoma County, the public is urged to exercise caution and avoid driving through standing water. The U.S. Navy commissioned a new combat ship on Saturday with a time-honored tradition. The Secretary of the Navy picked a sponsor for the ship, the USS Beloit. Retired Major General Marcia Anderson received the honor. She served in the Army for nearly 4 decades and became the first African-American woman to achieve the rank of Major General. Anderson was chosen to be the ship's sponsor because of her connection to Beloit, Wisconsin, her hometown. And at the end of the ceremony, Anderson followed tradition, calling out, quote, "Man our ship and bring her to life." Christ Kitchen in Victoria is offering free flu shots courtesy of the Victoria Fire Department. Doors open at 11 a.m. on Wednesday and it closes at 1 in the afternoon. Christ Kitchen is located at 611 East Warren Avenue in Victoria. For more information, call 361-578-4233. The City of Cuero's annual Christmas in the Park celebrates 25 years today at 6 p.m. at the Cuero Municipal Park. Residents are invited to celebrate the start of the holiday season with cookies, pictures with Santa, and a trip through the holiday light display. They're asking attendees to park at either the baseball entrance or the airport entrance. The holiday fun ends on January 1st, but there's plenty of time to enjoy the holiday spirit. Plus, you can get a free hot chocolate every Thursday night in December. And we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. And now let's get a look at our beautiful sunrise on the water right here with First Warn Storm Team Meteorologist Parker Cox.
That's right, Carolina, look at this pretty sunrise that's coming up this morning. Look at all the colors out there. We got some pink. That's a pretty sunrise if you ask me. Got some yellow out there as well, but if you could go see that sunrise, just a tad bit cool out there. Actually pretty nice if you ask me. 65 in Port Lavaca, plenty humid as well, so please be careful if you see any fog this morning. That'll clear by about 8:30. But otherwise today, we're looking at another warm day today before that front comes. You can actually see it right here by 4 or 5 p.m. Upper 80s down in South Texas behind the front. 50s and 60s, but look a little closer at home. I'm thinking 84 for the high in Port Lavaca. Lots of sun until the late afternoon when there's a couple clouds ahead at the front. And in Victoria, though, I'm thinking 87 for today's high. Lots of sunshine as well. Cold front will start arriving at around 6 or 7 p.m. I'm thinking in Victoria, maybe a little bit later than that, 7 or 8. And Cuero, it will be passing y'all at 6. So I'm thinking arriving at about 5. But getting up to 88 for today's high. But don't get used to that because look at this. We're going to be up and down and up and down and up and down all week long with 3 fronts this week and a 4th coming early to mid next week.
All right, thank you, Parker, for that forecast, and thank you y'all for being with us here this morning. Join Shauna, Dawn, Maclovio, and Max today for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10. Have a great Monday.